The FBI has just announced they arrested a person on terrorism-related charges over the weekend and that the plot was for the 4th of July holiday. The unidentified suspect arrested in Cleveland, Ohio, just learned the plot involved detonating a bomb around Independence Day. That's all they're revealing at this time. But the FBI has planned a press conference on this arrest at 6:15 this morning. So we'll be monitoring it here. I'll be listening in from our live desk. I will bring you the newest details as soon as those are released.
We're here today to announce the arrest of Demetrius Nathaniel Pitts, also known as Abdur Raheem Rafeeq. Pitts has been charged in a federal complaint with attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization. Pitts was placed into custody yesterday, Sunday, July 1st at approximately 10 a.m. by the Joint Terrorism Task Force agents and task force officers. A criminal complaint sets forth in detail the facts and circumstances of the investigation and also the attempted material support charge. If you have not received a copy of that complaint, you will so at the end of the press conference. So again, that 30-plus page complaint includes a lot of the details of this investigation, but I think it's important to just spend a few minutes and to go over some of the highlights for you. So in 2017, the FBI received reporting that Pitts was making statements espousing his support for al-Qaida and also his actions against particular United States entities, his violent intentions, including the armed forces. And as we typically do when we receive this information, we do what? We open an investigation. We check it out. And that's exactly what we did here. It was initially opened out of our Cincinnati field office because Pitts resided in the Southern District of Ohio. And it was also worked in coordination with the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Ohio. So Pitts' statements of violent intentions continued to cause concern during the investigation as he expressed a willingness to conduct a U.S.-based attack and also his desire in wanting to join a foreign terrorist organization. His Facebook posts, quite frankly, were disturbing. They included verbiage that had words to the effect, "We as Muslims need to start training like this every day. We need to know how to shoot guns, throw hand grenades, hand-to-hand combat." An FBI undercover agent was introduced to Pitts in an effort to further determine whether Pitts was in fact a threat to national security. His extensive criminal history, including felonious assault, domestic violence, aggravated robbery, and carrying a concealed weapon, furthered our reason for concern. In May, Pitts relocated to the Cleveland area, and the office here in the JTTF picked up the investigation. Over the next several weeks, Pitts continued to express his radical ideology and his desire to commit violence against the United States. Just last week, during an in-person meeting with our undercover agent, Pitts suggested words to the effect, "I did tell myself that their holiday is coming up, the 4th of July, Independence Day. What would hit them in the core? Blow up, have a bomb, blow up at the 4th of July parade." During communications with the undercover agent, Pitts indicated he would travel downtown and conduct reconnaissance of Voinovich Park and the U.S. Coast Guard station for the purpose of taking photographs and videotaped footage. He further, the day or thereafter, walked downtown, all over the downtown, and surveilled these entities, Voinovich Park and the U.S. Coast Guard station, in addition to other locations that had previously been discussed. Additional conversations with extremely concerning statements of intentions made by Pitts are specified in the federal complaint, and they include topics such as hatred for the military, wanting to chop off heads and hands, and disposing of bodies. A final meeting occurred on Sunday morning, as I mentioned yesterday, where the undercover and Mr. Pitts had a lengthy conversation. Pitts again, on his own, expressed his allegiance to al-Qaida, his desire to participate in a terror attack on July 4th in Cleveland, Ohio, his desire to kill military personnel and their families, his desire to kill federal and local agents, and his desire to commit a future attack at a date to be determined in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, an area he once resided. At the conclusion of the meeting, Mr. Pitts was arrested, and he will be appearing before a U.S. magistrate later today. I think everyone in the room knows this, but this case illustrates that law enforcement, of course, cannot sit back, in this case, wait for Mr. Pitts to commit a violent act. We don't have the luxury of hoping that an individual decides not to harm someone or get others to act, especially when his continued repeated intentions were to do just that. The Joint Terrorism Task Force, the city, the partners are working every day to detect, deter, and prevent terrorist attacks. That is by far our collective #1 priority to keep the public safe from all known threats. So we'd like just to take a minute to commend the men and women, and some of which are represented over there. And again, there's many in this room behind the cameras. They're every bit as critical to the work we do each and every day. We also had assistance from the Maple Heights and Garfield Heights Police Department and other, of course, and other entities. Just their hard work, dogged determination throughout the last year and a half. And it's what they do each and every day, behind the scenes, to try to protect us all. This investigation also, we collectively believe, demonstrates that commitment, but also underscores the importance of differentiating between lawful, peaceful exercise of First Amendment rights, rights that we all cherish, and criminal acts and violent desires of a select few, such as Mr. Pitts, who seek to do our community and our country harm. Lastly, I would just like to give a shout out and thank the public. The public, as you'll see in the complaint, provided at least a piece of information that furthered this investigation. It just further illustrates how critical that is. All the partners up here, I know Chief Williams would echo this in a second, and Colonel Pride and others. It is the relationship with the public. It's relying on information each and every day that allows us to do our job. I think this case also illustrates that partnership, not just among the agencies here, but between the public and between the media as well. With that, I will end.